It's another edition of Pens Down. The pen is the tool of the journalist. This show is called Pens Down because this is where the journalists drop their working tool, the pen. Here they put their pens down. They are no longer the reporters or presenters. They are the newsmakers. We turn the tables on this platform and get them to tell us what they go through in the line of duty. Basically, we talk journalism journeys here. Today, we are traveling to Liberia in West Africa, for those of you who don't know. I am joined by a journalist who currently works with the Daily Observer newspaper. My guests on Pens Down today is Tina, Siatta, Mehnpaine. Welcome, and thanks for joining me on Pens Down.
Thank you, Stephen.
Right. You look like a nurse. Why are you a journalist? Maybe nursing would have fit you better.
I don't believe that because I feel so badly in physics and chemistry.
Oh, wow, I see. Maybe you have the looks, but you don't have the kind of passion to learn the subjects that will lead you there. But how did you get into journalism? How did you discover the journalist in you?
Oh, growing up or when I was back then in secondary school, I thought I was going to be an accountant because I still remember one time doing one of our presentation, and then my teacher asked, he said we should submit our ambitions. Who do we aspire to be in the future? And then I saw my friends, and then the people were like, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a nurse, I want to be an accountant. So I just joined my friend and I said, okay, I'll be an accountant. And then doing the presentation, and then I wrote accounting, and then doing the presentation, I presented and I did so well. And then my teacher said, you know what? I see you being a great journalist. You presented so well. You sounded like a TV journalist. I mean, you did well. So I left that presentation and I went home. And then I started to think. I said, this teacher, he's actually right, because when it comes to math, I feel badly. When it comes to physics, I feel badly. I'm only good at writing, and then anything that has to do with journalism, that's what I'm good at. So
yeah, so I was wondering, how did you join the accounting group? I mean,
because I saw my friends and everybody was like, so I just joined them.
Oh, wow.
Yes, so my teacher really helped me. And that was how I started to work on myself. And then I joined the school press club, and from there I graduated. I went to a vocational school. I got a diploma in journalism. Then after that, I went at the Observer as an intern, and after some months, I became a freelance. And now I'm a full reporter. That's how I become a journalist.
How many years has it all been since you started practicing journalism?
Well, I started in 2020, so practically I would say it's 4 years, but I would say it's 3 years because that in 2020 I just take that year as a learning period for me because, like I said, I went as an intern and I used that year to build myself and learn more about journalism, because in a journalism school, they only teach you how to write, what is journalism, how you record, you transcribe. The practical is not there. So when you leave the school and then you go for, you have to, it's something that you are starting over again.
Now, this is where I disagree with most of my colleagues. I will not agree with you that the first year you won't count it as part of the experience, because that 1 year is foundational. Minus that 1 year experience, I don't think you will be where you are today. Am I right?
You are right.
Yes. So indeed, that 1 year should be the most important year in your career, because that is where you lay the foundation for where you have gotten to today. You understand? I always fight with colleagues here because some of them say, okay, so for the first 2 years or 1 year or 6 months, I was not sure. I was just trying here and there and all that. But that is how you found yourself. You discovered yourself. Now, these 3-4 years, what would you say has been the most difficult or challenging assignments you have covered?
Oh wow, it was my most tough, hard
Mm.
assignment that I covered was this year. I started
Okay.
life that it was a 6 month investigation, a story that I did on the a $3 million EU fund that was meant to clean Monrovia trash, and then
Okay.
the money was misused by those who got it. It was actually a loan by
Mm.
those who got this loan. So when I sat there, I pitched a story, and then the story was actually from a solution angle. We're basically looking at these CBEs that was helping to clean the city,
Mm.
saying, oh, though the city is dirty, the government is challenged, but we have people in this area that is helping to address waste in Monrovia. So we started to visit communities when we talk to CVEs, and right within that, and then communities say, oh, we don't have people here to help us clean our trash. Then right within that period, we saw a report from the City Alliance. It was actually the Cities Alliance who was implementing through
Mm.
the EU, through the Cities Alliance, who was implementing this loan. And then they
Okay.
came out with a huge report that
Mm.
all waste collection has improved in Monrovia from this percent to this percent. And the percentage was so
Wow.
high. So I then look at the report
Mm.
and look at what I have gathered in the field, the communities I have been to, the people that I have met and spoke to. And then
Mm.
I listen to what they have said to me and I read the report. It's different. The report is saying different things. What the people are saying is different. So I started to go deeper. I said, okay, maybe I need to go deeper. When I
Mm.
went deeper, I started to gather some documents, started to speak to people. I realized that the whole fund was a fraud. It failed massively. Those who took the money, for instance, they say, oh, we got this money, we want to improve waste collection. They went and established, instead of improving the waste collection business that they held before, they went and opened another business. Some of them opened gas business, some of them went into fashion, some of them went into clothing, some of them went into different businesses and abandoned the trash
Wow.
collection business in the city was stay clean. So that was so hard. It
Wow.
took me 6 months. It took me 6 months to investigate, and because I was so overwhelmed with the reporting, a senior colleague of mine had to join me to
Mm.
complete this report. But it was so tough. I mean, just going to so many communities, Monrovia is so big, and then
Mm.
the report was about the entire Monrovia. So we
Yeah.
have to go to so many communities. We have to speak to so many people, and
Mm.
it was interesting to know that when that story came up, and then the European Union find out that their money was being misused. Now, what they have decided to do is that they will be very careful on how they give out fundings to people who they give out to. They will not just be giving out fundings to people because they want to say, oh, the EU is here doing this. Before they
Mm.
give out funds, that person or that organization, we have to go through a thorough investigation.
Mm. Now, obviously, for you to undertake a big assignment like this and complete successfully, it meant that you stepped on some very big feats while trying to
Yeah,
get to the bottom of the matter.
yeah.
In the line of duty or while undertaking this assignment, did your life ever come under danger? Did anybody threaten you?
No, I didn't receive any threat. Nobody threatened me, but people were not just cooperative. I mean,
Mm.
the deputy minister for urban affairs at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, who was in charge of this program, was
Mm.
never responsive. She turned down
Mm.
all of our interviews. We sent
Mm.
her WhatsApp messages. She was so arrogant to us,
Mm.
and we just have to let it go.
What
Yeah.
about bribery? Did anybody attempt to offer you something to tell you, hey, kill this story? What's your interest? Forget about it.
No, nobody did that to me. In fact, because the loan was a revolving loan, meaning
Okay.
the first batch was supposed to take it, and then
Mm-hmm.
when they repay back, another group take it.
Yeah.
So those that were qualified in the
Mm-hmm.
first group that should have
Mm-hmm.
taken the loan, they were never successful. So other
Okay.
people went, yes, people who were not qualified, they went ahead and gave these loans to them. So those that were qualified and did not get the loan, they was disenchanted. So they were the
Mm.
one helping us to identify some of the people who were into the wrong acts. So,
but generally, in the line of duty, has anybody approached you with anything, money or material things? Oh, this story you are doing, just forget about it and take this.
No, I haven't come across that. And it was interesting to know we live in one of the countries in West Africa that we have a free press. Yeah, so we are free to report. Just make sure what you report is fair, balanced, and factual. That's all.
Now, there is a term in journalism in Ghana. In Ghana, we call it Sole, which is the short form for solidarity. In Nigeria, they call it the brown envelope. In Liberia, I'm told they call it capital or professional services, something like that.
Yeah, capital. They call it capital.
in Malawi, they call it logistics. In Cameroon,
they
call it brown envelope. Now, I want to have your take on this one. What is your personal or professional opinion on this practice?
Okay, so for those that came or have come before us, we have been taught that, you know, when you go to do this piece of work in somebody, in fact, it's just impossible for us here to say we are rejecting cattle. We will not take a brown envelope. Not in a form of bribery, you know. For instance, if you invite me to your program or if I go for interview, but there are stories you go for that you will not be able to accept cattle. For instance, the investigation that I was doing.
Sure.
So I dare not take any money from anybody. I did not take any money from anybody, and I shouldn't, because you are into a thorough investigation and you do not want anything to come in between you. So that's it. So there are other programs. If I go for instance, somebody is having a graduation ceremony for vocational school, and then if I go cover the program and after the ball, I'm leaving the person and say, okay, this is for you. I will accept. We accept that here. Because the media houses we work for, most of the media houses we work for, we are underpaid.
Okay.
Yes. So, and if we get this money to run after story, there are stories you don't get cattle for it. For instance, if you go, if there is a protest somewhere and then you live far from there, you need to go and you need to transport yourself and buy a recharge card to go there. If you go to cover that program, you won't get a dime. Nobody's going to give you money. So the money you receive from the programs that you attend as a cattle is what you have to cater to yourself, to facilitate your movement, to facilitate your logistic, and then use it to run after other programs. So we rely on cattle.
Is there any possibility that one day cattle can become a bribe?
Yes. Sure, it's clear. Too much of it will become a bribe, because if you are too, like I said, if you know you are doing certain story and this story is not worth receiving cattle, don't accept it. But if you know you are doing this story, sometimes you are doing a story and the person don't have to say, I'm giving you a bribe, I'm giving you this money to kill this story. But the magnitude of the story and the money the person will give you will say to you as a humor that you shouldn't go ahead with this story. The person is not compared to say, oh yeah, you know, you need to kill this story. So if you know you are doing a thorough investigation on this particular person or on this particular subject, you stay away from receiving cattle from this person.
Does journalism pay? Does it pay?
Like I said, we are underpaid in Liberia. Most media houses don't pay.
It's a similar story across Africa.
Yeah.
So
we are underpaid.
So let's look at it this way. If the pay is not that good, I'm sure for the 3-4 years you've been here, there are even some colleagues you came to meet, they have left the profession already and they are doing other things, right? In Ghana, for instance, Accra, Ghana, where I am based, the journalists keep leaving from time to time. That kind of attrition is very high in the field of journalism. What do you think is accounting for this? Is it only the poor pay or there's something else?
For us in Liberia, let me speak from Liberia, the government is the highest paid I mean, they are the one doing large businesses with the media houses. They are the one doing publishing large ads. So they do large business with the media. So I think it comes from where, if they know that you are critical, and they also use that to hold the media, to make the media silent, because if you don't have funds to facilitate your reporters, they won't be able to go after certain stories. So they will intentionally keep being indebted to you. For us at Observer, the government is indebted to us. We have written a lot of editorials calling their attention, and no avail. They have refused to pay our money. So that's it.
Wow. Are you doing journalism for life? Is it for better, for worse? Or there is a point you also say goodbye?
Yes. For better, for worse.
Wow. Now, some colleagues on this show have argued that journalists should be licensed. They believe that licensing journalists is the right thing to do. Do you agree to calls that we should license journalists? Will you support such calls?
Yes. If journalists are licensed, because they will be able to uphold the profession, they will be able to uphold the ethics and core value of the profession. Nowadays, from where I come from in Liberia, you see high school students, people who graduated from high school are calling themselves journalists.
Yes.
And especially for us who are used to this, the most predominant social media used in Liberia here is Facebook. So we have this Facebook Live. So many of them have their Facebook Live online TV stations. You see, I'm from XYZ TV, I'm from XYZ TV, and then they all go there at the end of the day. Yeah. You see them, I'm from XYZ TV, I'm from XYZ TV. Once they have their phone with cameras, they have their tripod. They call themselves journalists. At the end of the day, they are the ones who have been caught into malpractices. They use this against the whole body of journalism. So if people are learning and be able to be well, people are not just learning, they should be well paid. Because if you are learning and you are not well paid, how will you be able to facilitate yourself? You will still be caught up in some kind of fraud. So the two should be balanced, be lessons and be well paid.
Be licensed and be well paid. Interesting. Now, you mentioned social media. Let's talk social media. We met on social media. We don't know each other from anywhere. I just bumped into your profile on LinkedIn. I went through, I was excited about what I saw, and I decided to contact. Now, how is social media changing journalism practice?
It's changing. I don't know how we call it, but it's impacting journalism so well. So I would say badly and goodly, it's just impacting journalism. So, like I said, for us, we use Facebook. Facebook is widely used here. Facebook and Instagram and WhatsApp. So people are no longer listening to radios. You don't have to, put on your radios to listen to the news. You just have to get your data, and anywhere you are, at any time, you just click on your phone. When you see something, you just pop up, and then you just click on that video. You will watch it live. Yeah.
Now, you and I are journalists, and we have the kind of training that should have given us the upper hand to use social media to further spread the information or the work we do. Because in terms of the use of mass communication platforms, it is journalists who are the professionals. But there is one reality I have observed. In Africa, there are richer bloggers than richer journalists. What are we not doing right? Is there something we are not doing, which is why ordinary people are making millions out of social media and we are still stuck here?
Yes, I think because I've not done blogging before, but I have engaged some bloggers. Yeah, on contents that I want to publish, and then you go to them and they give you their price. So before they post anything for you on their blog, you must pay. Except where they say, oh, they want to do this for to gain followers. But most of the what they publish on their pages, people paid for it. Whereas we journalists, most of what we do are free. For instance, people send us their press releases, we publish it free of charge.
Yeah.
We see this events here, we go there, we cover it free of charge. And we are using that same resources the blogger is using. We use money to transport ourselves. We use money to buy data, to recharge our phone. We need fee. The blogger is doing the same thing. So the blogger is gaining money from the same job we are doing as journalists, while the journalist does not have any. So definitely the blogger will be richer than the journalist.
What is the way out? How do we also benefit from social media? Because it has a lot of opportunities that can help us make money. What's the way out?
Okay, one of the way out for me is to start to monetize our contents.
Monetize the content. Okay. All right. Now let's look at ownership of the media. There are politicians and politically exposed persons who have media houses or are setting up media houses. The political ownership of the media, we are in Africa and our democracies, we are trying to nurture it to grow. Is this practice a danger or there is no cause for alarm?
There is a huge call for alarm. And for us here, there are so many politicians in Liberia that own radio stations and media houses. Aside from the government or the politicians just influencing journalists, there are so many of them here that have radio stations and media houses. And we have this recent issue with one of the stations. They call it Freedom FM. So this guy, he used to be a very balanced, incredible journalist. But then he joined this radio station. It's owned by a senior member of the CDC, the Congress for Democratic Change. So most of what they publish on their radio stations are propagandas. They go against people who are against the current administration, who are oppositions, and then they promote the events, the work of the George Weah administration. And this guy who is the director for the radio, he sat on his radio and then he accused the army chief of staff of inciting his men to vote against George Weah. He said a whole lot of things, accused the army chief of staff of being violating soldiers' rights, of being an opposition, that the army chief of staff is a Haiti. He works for the Unity Party, the opposition. So, and then the army chief of staff went. So the next day, the army arrested a group of army officers arrested the station owner. So there was a whole debate around that area. Yeah, there was a whole debate. Other people were saying the journalist or the one who accused the army chief of staff should be arrested. Other people said no, the station owner, the one who has the business, should be arrested because he opened his platform. He allows somebody, he employs somebody to sit on his platform and say what he said. So he should be dealt with. So that's it. So the politicians, they have so many radio stations, and you go there, and it happened the last election. You know what they did? Those politicians who had this radio station were sitting on their platform and calling fake results to people, results that never existed.
Wow.
Yes.
That's dangerous.
Favor of the owner. Yes, in favor of the person who has the radio station who running. So they're having so many calls, and you know, we come, like you said, we come from Africa. Politics is in everything. The politicians, they have the money, they have the influence, they have the connections. So you just have to fit in and be who you are and work in that field. For me, I don't work for a radio station. I don't work for a politician. I told my friends, I wouldn't work for any politician because I know you will sack me.
Right.
So,
now let's look at
where do you applying to a radio station?
Where do you see yourself in the next 10 years?
In the next 10 years, I see myself as a journalism trainer, as a journalism manager, as someone who has built not just a name in journalism, but herself, who has built her career. on the platform and the ethics of journalism.
Great. I'm going to put you on the spot and ask you some questions. Now, this question you are going to give me, I want you to tell me who is that public figure that if you have the opportunity, you want to sit down and interview the person. Number one, in Liberia, you give me one male, one female, and then internationally, one male, one female.
So in Liberia, I will really love to interview her say Madam Erin Johnson Sirleaf.
Oh dear, you have to take that again because the internet wasn't kind.
How was she able to break that?
You have to take that again. The internet wasn't kind.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so I would say the first person will be Madam Erin Johnson Sirleaf, our first,
the former president,
Africa
right?
female head of state. Yes, yes.
Great.
I really love the interview. I want to ask her how she was able to, because apart from her history in politics, I've also read her book, how she was raped, how she was denied public office, how she was abused. So I want to ask her, how was she able to break through with all of these circumstances, with all of what she went through? How was she able to break through and make her way at the high?
Wow. What about male in Liberia?
The male would be, or what's his name? I forget this guy's name. He's a chef.
Okay.
He's a male chef.
Okay.
Yes. I follow him on social media. I even engaged him, you know, but he said that he would grant me an interview after the election because he don't want to be caught up with the election stuff. So okay. But I really admire him, you know. He has been representing Liberia outside of the international war. This year, we were able to win an award in Nigeria at a food festival.
Wow.
So I want to know how, as a male, you know, you come from Africa, Liberia, where we know that men don't cook. Wow. And then you are not just a local a local chef, but an international chef. You know?
That's right. That's a big achievement. Okay, so let's go outside Liberia. First, female. Which international figure would you want to interview? One.
Michelle Obama.
Wow. And why Michelle Obama? I'm interested. You know, I love her. I just admire her resilience, her truthfulness, I just love everything about that woman. And I watch her YouTube video. I listen to her speeches. She's so eloquent. She speaks so well. Yeah. So I want to interview her. She'll be the first international star I will interview. What about male?
You.
Wow. Oh my goodness. Wow.
I want to interview in person, you know.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, but I mean, I haven't made any groundbreaking impact that you want to, you know. Unless maybe there's something really unique you want to find out.
Yes.
Maybe you can do your interview here. You can do your interview here.
No.
This is interesting. Wow. I never thought for once that you're going to mention my name. How? Oh wow, that's great. That's great. But
what you are doing, you are not just asking us to tell you what are some of the trouble we go through in our profession. We are also helping to, expose us. So there are not many organizations that focus on journalists. Not many organizations or not many people that go to say, oh, I'm here to ask this journalist, what does she go through in her daily life? And you have your platform exclusively for journalists. You should be using that to do other things that will attract people to your platform, and that using it to just interview journalists and ask them the things is done. And so what somebody would say, and so what? That's their job.
Yeah.
So you are doing an amazing job. So So I want to interview you in person and know about your work and know what inspired you to just exclusively focus on journalists.
My last question. If
Okay.
today your younger brother or sister or somebody younger than you, or even somebody that looks up to you as a mentor, walks to you and says, I am thinking about becoming a journalist in future, would you give your blessings to the person, or you tell the person to look elsewhere?
Yes, and I did not mention that when I graduated from high school, and then I told my parents that I wanted to enroll in a journalism vocational school. We have that here. They call it the Media Epitech School of Journalism. It's a popular journalism school. There were a lot of people who said to me, "No, journalists, don't become a journalist. That is a very poor profession." What? Journalist? You should be an accountant. You should. And somebody said to me, you will be so beautiful. You will be so good when you work in a bank. You will be a great teller. And I said I want to be a journalist. And I left all of them. I went to that journalist school. And guess what? Those who said that, journalism is a poor profession, journalism doesn't have anything, I've traveled more than them. I'm still traveling.
Anyway, yeah, I'm not surprised. Journalism, that is one of the blessed opportunities it comes with.
Yes, they make it look like it's so bad, it's so cold. They discourage you. Don't go there. It's nothing. Don't go there. But if anybody that would come to me and say, "Oh, I want to become a journalist," I would tell you, go there. Just be a good journalist. Just be a fair journalist. Just be a balanced journalist. Nowadays, most journalists, they are more focused on, the who's, the whys. They want to travel. They want to get all of the adults, all the commendations, but I don't want to put in the work. I tell people, I tell my friends, put in the work. The work will bring the who's, the work will bring the travel. It is the work that you put that will bring all of these things. Not just because you are a journalist. I mean, so you're journalist, and so you should do what? Put in the work. Make sure you do a great journalism. Make sure you do your best. Be a good writer. Learn, build yourself. Read a lot of books. Read a lot of newspaper. Read a lot of work. Watch movies. Watch English movie. Know how to speak. Know how to write. If you do these things and build yourself, and make sure you are competent. Once you are competent, once you have the skill, once you have the criteria, you are good to go.
Yeah. I said that was my last question, but something just came up. Forgive me. Journalists never run out of questions, unfortunately. This one, I want to promise you, it's going to be my very last. If we are to go back to 2020 for you to start all over, what will you do differently? Is there something you want to do or start on a much better note?
Nothing. I think
you still want to go through the challenges of trying to find your feet and all that. So I'm sure then that vindicates me that 1 year you don't talk about is the most important.
Sure. I still want to wake up early and go to the office and be the first there. I still want to ask people, how do I do this? I mean, how do you do this? What do you do when you go there? What questions do you ask? How do you do this? Well, how do you write this? What can I do when I'm engaged with this? What can I do when somebody asks me, what do I need to say when I go to people? I still want to be like that.
This is PENSDOWN here. The people who bring you the news stories, those who present the news, and those who bring you everything in between. This is where we put the CCTV camera on them, and then we let you understand who they are, how they got here, what they go through, and even how they get what they bring to you. It is called PENSDOWN. We talk journalism journeys. We travel to Liberia today, and my colleague Tina Siatta Mehnpaine joined me today on PENSDOWN. Thanks for your time. I'm truly grateful. Thank you for sharing your thoughts with us.
Thank you, Steven.
Right. We'll be back next time with another edition. Here, the item is only one: journalism journeys. That's all we talk here. It is the only platform across the globe dedicated to bringing journalists all over the world to talk about what they go through. You can never get it absolute anywhere except here. Stay tuned, and thanks for joining us. We'll be back with another colleague, and the item will still be the same: journalism journeys. Bye for now.